Hello, hello. I think we are live and welcome back to everyone. I hope everybody's is doing good this week and everything went well with their jobs and their normal life and everybody's staying safe. Um, so welcome back to another session of mobile app redesign for developers. We have today our special guest again, Brandon Minnick. Say hi,
How's it
Brandon.
going, Luis? Good to see you again, man.
It's going great, great. This week was kind of hectic, but thankfully we're on Friday, the
That's
happy
right.
day of the week. And yeah, I'm excited to see what we're going to be working on today. Do you have a little bit of information for us on what's the day
Oh,
going to look
definitely.
like and what you have been doing in the week?
Yeah. So on last week's episode, we talked about a bunch of things, and it was all good things, but we didn't get around to writing any code. But yeah, the ideas we talked about last week was continuing on adding this um, star history chart graph to our GitTrends app, and we had an awesome discussion because we found a lot of things that we want to watch out for, like things like what if somebody's repo is 3 years old and they have 1,000 stars? Well, if you chart that, that might look weird. Or what if the repo hasn't had any activity in months? Well, we don't want the last date on the chart to be 3 months ago. We want it to show that the chart is showing all the data through today. So little things like that, and figuring out things like what do we put on the x-axis, on the y-axis, and so this past week I was playing around with it a bit, and I've got I guess we'll call it the dynamic zoom or auto zoom feature working, I think. And so I want to show that off to everybody today. See what you think, because I've come up and I played around with some numbers and formulas, and we'll see what everybody thinks today. But what I was trying to do is get a good snapshot of your star history. So when you look at this chart, if your repo's been open for 3 years, then we'll limit it to a shorter time period. So give you like a more updated glance at what's going on, because I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but I don't really care what happened December 3 years ago in my repo. That's kind of ancient news to me. So, figure out a way that we could still leverage Syncfusion like we're doing, but to essentially auto zoom in on more recent data, relevant data. And if the user wants to, they can still zoom out and see the full history. And I've got that working, but I'm not the UI expert or the UX expert. So wanted to play around with some values today, see what we can tweak to make things most optimal, and also just making sense to the user. Because one of the weird things is we have another graph that will show 2 weeks worth of data. And so that graph always shows 2 weeks. Well, this graph might show a year, it might show a month. And so, yeah, I want to play around with it a bit, maybe tweak some of those values today, see how far we get, because we also are missing like a whole header for this graph too. So we've talked about what do we put above the chart? Something like, you have 300 stars, way to go. Like maybe some encouraging messaging, and what are the colors going to look like, and all that fun stuff too. So oh, and also what happens if the graph's empty? Right now it just shows nothing and it kind of looks broken, when the reality is, like, if you just have 0 stars on your repo, then obviously there's nothing for us to graph. So yeah, I wanted to show off some of the work I did, see what you think, see what the folks around the world at home think. Maybe we tweak some of these values. I want to get something working for empty states. We talked a lot about empty states last week and images that we can display. So maybe we can grab one of those, do it live on the stream today. And that'll probably take up the full stream. But if we have more time, then we can start playing around with the header above the chart. So what do we put in there? We'll see. Lots of things to do.
Yeah. It's gonna be a really exciting day because we're gonna be able to see the code as you said and like play around with the mockups and just play around with colors, see how where we can position stuff. I'm really excited to see like the implementation you did with the auto zoom feature. It really sounds like you had a good time implementing it. I'm not gonna say a hard time. I'm gonna say an entertaining time, right?
No,
so.
it was a good time.
So I'm seeing here in the chat. I just want to let's do the normal, right? Let's confirm that all the attendees can see us and
Yeah,
the video is working
and
fine.
actually, I just
So,
lost your video,
oh,
so
really?
I still see me, but I don't see you.
Let me confirm that. Let's see.
We see your, or at least I see your avatar though, so I know you're still here and I can hear you.
Time for troubleshooting. Let's see. I was also sending the messages, posting the messages on Instagram and in our social media. I think I have Twitter left. I'll post that so you can go ahead and share as well in the and whoever's in the chat as well. Share. You can share it with your network so everybody knows you're already live. Let me see. Why is my camera? Okay. Let's see. 22. Let's see.
We're doing live.
Yep. This always happens with the lives and the demos.
That's all right. I mean, I wasn't live streaming, but I was in a meeting for work, and my headphones just decided to disconnect, and and once I figured out it was my headphones, and I switched over to my computer audio so I could hear my coworkers talking, my headphones reconnected. Oh, there you are. I can see you again.
We're back. We have won the battle. Nice. Yeah, that when you're like at work in the conferences, that's like a part of the ritual of the meeting. Like the first 5 minutes is everybody like, "Hey, sorry, I was muted. Can you guys hear me? Can you see my screen?"
Oh man, we have these all hands meetings, and we're talking like probably, well, definitely over 100 people in these meetings, and
Oh
all it
my.
takes is one person to forget to mute themselves, and you hear like either like cars driving by or like dogs or babies crying, and
Yeah,
it never fails.
that's so true. Let me go ahead now and put the Twitter message. Oh, I see in the chat we already have two of our loyal attendees here. We have Pablito Piova. Welcome. It's great to have you here every Friday. We are happy that you're joining today, and make sure any idea you come up with while we were talking, make sure to just share in the chat so we can include it in the design process as well. That's gonna help us out of time. I see
Definitely.
also Paisa Khan is in the chat. Welcome as well. She's also one of the loyals. I think we're missing Ricardo and Lester. They should be probably
They'll
coming
be
your
here.
way. Yeah, let me post this photo of our live. Hey guys, hey community, come live, come join.
She's right. We know you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic. We can't go have fun, so we know you're at home. Might as well come hang out with us.
Yeah. Stop watching a series and come over here.
Oh, dude. We just watched The Vow on HBO. Have you
Oh
heard about
really?
this series?
I've heard it mentioned, but I've not seen it. No, is it good?
It's insane. Well, first of all, it's all real. This is like a real documentary about a cult that basically it started out as this executive training program. So something like maybe you're nervous about public speaking and you go to this training program, and yeah, it just evolved into this like multi-level marketing scheme cult. but they use like MLM tactics to get people to join it. And
Yeah.
then, man, they started branding people, like hot irons on your skin, branding people, and
What?
it's wild, and it's all real. And it happened just in upstate New York, like in Albany, New York. These people got sucked into a cult, but highly recommend it. The series finale just aired this week. And so you can binge the whole thing on I think we watched on HBO Now or HBO Max or whatever HBO calls their streaming service. But it was wild because
And how many seasons do they have so far?
just one. So I don't know what they're gonna do. They kind of left it on a little bit of a cliffhanger, but it is a true story, and so it ends on almost present day. Like the last episode was recorded September 2020. And so if they do have another season, then
It's probably gonna be for like next year.
it would have to be a while because,
Yeah.
I mean, oh, I don't want to spoil too much. It is all a true story, so like you could just look up the Wikipedia page for this cult to find out what happens. But
Oh, they have
I
a
will say,
Wikipedia
man,
page and everything. A web page you register, you like get your welcome package.
well, that was the craziest thing is like you're watching this, and normally when you hear like somebody ran off to join a cult, you're like, okay, yeah, that person's crazy.
Yeah.
Of course they got sucked into a cult. But like watching this, you're kind of like, yeah, I could see how
How
people could get sucked up into this because you go to these training programs, and
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've been to something like this where like you're going to be outside of your comfort zone. You have to kind of be open-minded. There's going to be like silly icebreakers, like
Yeah.
silly games that you're playing, but at the end of the day, like it's worth it. And so they kind of take advantage of that in people where like people who are attending these programs are expecting to be uncomfortable and expecting to kind of learn new things, but instead of like learning how to become a better public speaker, they start like brainwashing you to joining their cult. And then eventually the next thing you know, like you're recruiting people to join the cult, and then they're recruiting people to join the cult because it's like this multi-level marketing scheme. It's wild,
Oh my God.
but highly recommend it. It was I don't know if it's going to be like the next big stream, like how like Tiger King blew up and just like took over the country, but
Yeah.
I could definitely see like the Vow is up there in terms of like quality and just like all these different plot lines going on and just like what is happening? This is wild. And it's not like, oh yeah, that was in the 60s and some you're like, yeah, it's just like, yo, this was recent. And like they're using like WhatsApp to message each other and like spread the
Oh
cult.
my God.
And it's like, ah.
It's like they're literally like, you could have a neighbor that's in this cult and you have no idea.
Oh, dude, they took over a town. There was a town north of Albany in New York that's where like the cult leader lived. And then he like basically built this compound and he recruited all the cult members to live there with him. And it's wild. Absolutely wild.
Nice. Well, I already posted the message. Let's see. Twitter. You can check in Twitter if you got the tweet. Let me confirm here in this other groups. And we should probably be good to get started after this couple messages. Let me send it
Retweet.
here.
Boom. So many clicks now on Twitter to retweet.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was the only one. Like now when you click it, it takes you to the tweet again, right? And it forces you to write the message now.
It defaults to the quote tweet where you add your own message.
I
But
knew I was
you can
not
still
correct.
leave that blank and just click
Yeah.
retweet. And so I know, well, part of it is with the US election coming up. Twitter implemented some new policies. Like if somebody shared an article, or a link to an article, I guess, and instead of being able just to retweet it, it'll follow that same UI flow where it opens up the quote tweet UI. And then if you go to retweet it, it'll say something like, it has a little dialogue that's like, are you sure you want to do this? We highly recommend reading the article first because and I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I think we all do it, or maybe it's just me. But yeah, you see something, you read the headline, you're like, yeah, boom, share it. But we don't read past the headline, and yeah, they're standing these up, and a lot of it has to do with the election. So some folks are wondering, are they going to keep it like this? Is this something that's going to go away after November ends? I don't know, but
Yeah, at least I don't really like it that much because before it used to be like so easy, like a single tap, I already retweeted something like that. I don't need to like go through the extra 2 clicks. I get the point of it because it's got a lot of spam. They're just avoiding a lot of spam from
yeah.
all this election stuff going around. So it's actually a good move, but I hope it's only temporary because
Right. I
they
don't
change.
have time for these 3-click retweets.
Yeah,
That's just ridiculous.
and there we can see like the same topic we're treating. We're talking in this series. How just a single change can impact the user experience for your clients, right? And how they can. You think they're not gonna notice, but unconsciously, since you're changing their behavior and they're so used to doing that same thing, uh, at least for us that I will consider ourselves like power users of Twitter because we're always there like sharing it, right? At least for us, we notice right away, and sometimes I guess that could cause some like change resistance, right? Because
Oh yeah.
everybody naturally, it's like you have that in you, like you were comfortable with something that you got adapted to, and when they change it, you're like, do I really like it? But hopefully for our changes, this is new features. Our users will adapt it really, really well, and they'll like it, right?
That's right. They
Well,
will like it.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's 6:20. I see a few people live in the chat. And yeah, I think we're good to go. So should we start with reviewing what you got to do on the weekend, and you can walk
Yeah,
me through a little bit of what was the logic, what was your thought process on implementing this, and yeah.
totally. Yeah, so feel free to pull up my screen and let me
Oh,
know
yeah.
once you can see it.
There you go.
All
Everybody
right.
should be able to see your screen now.
So I've got my iPhone actually plugged into the computer today. That's what we're seeing over here because
Oh, nice.
we're gonna be
Hey,
doing
our
zooming and panning a lot, and
our
it's easier for me
production
to.
for the show is improving. We're
So
almost professionals now.
that's right. And but yeah, to bring everybody up to speed, in case you missed it last week, these are our notes. So we spent a lot of time last week, kind of getting into the minutia, which is good because, to be honest, I don't think you can create a good UI UX without really combing through all the fine details. And so a couple things we talked about. Well, actually, all of these here are what we talked about. And the ones with the check marks next to them were the ones I was able to figure out. And I know I jumped ahead, but a lot of this was we didn't even know if this was possible. And I mean, everything in code is possible, right? Because we can always write code to do whatever we want within the bounds of physics. But things like, well, we're using Syncfusion for these charts. So these charts aren't anything we're drawing by hand. This is just, we're leveraging the SF chart library from Syncfusion. And so shout out to Syncfusion. Thank you. And we had this chart working. This is how the app looks today. And you can kind of see all your values for your views and close. You can zoom in if you want to get a closer look at a certain day. Happy days, look at that. And that's all great. But when we started chatting about how we're going to design this chart for the stars, we weren't really sure what the limits of the Syncfusion API is. And so we said, hey, it'd be cool to include the year in the x-axis because in the other chart, and we basically just copy and pasted the code from the other chart. The other chart only shows 2 weeks, so it doesn't have to include the year because 2 weeks. Well, hopefully users know the year 2 weeks ago. And most times that doesn't overlap unless you're in that weird period of January. And so we were able to add the year down here. Awesome. That was actually not too bad. Ensure the chart extends through. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luis.
It looks really nice now because, when we had like all the months, on the bottom it looked really cluttered. So the user couldn't really read what was happening down there. And now it looks like, clean and like wall space. So yeah, I like it.
Hopefully. And then something else we noticed was the chart wasn't extending through the current day. And this one was pretty easy to track down because the way the Syncfusion charts work, they just display the data you give them. And what we were doing is literally taking the data from the GitHub API and giving it to Syncfusion. So here's the data from GitHub API, and the data that GitHub gives us is literally just timestamps. So when you ask for the star history, GitHub just gives you, if you have 100 stars, it'll give you 100 date times. And so those date times, you can infer that that's when a user starred your repo. And that's great. But when we slapped it into the chart, well, if there was not a timestamp for today, then your chart ended whenever the last star was. So us as developers, we know what's going on because we know how the APIs work and we know the data we're getting back. But from the user perspective, it looks like the chart was cutting off the last day or the last couple of weeks whenever you had that last star. And like when I looked at repos like maybe this one, there we go. So we can see like this repo hasn't been starred in a while. We got a 37 star back here, and then it's been a couple days, couple weeks. And so yeah, you can imagine here if the chart cut off on maybe that's July, then we're going to get blamed for that. Somebody's going to open up an issue on the GitHub repo, or somebody's going to leave a 1-star review to say star history UI is broken. They chop off 2 months every time. And it's like, well, really, it's just the GitHub API. Well, really, you haven't gotten a star in 2 months. But that was a pretty easy fix. I can show you. Might as well jump into some code now to walk through some of this stuff. So this is the logic. Blow that up a little bit. This is the logic I'm using to turn that list of date times that we get from the API into this daily stars model. And this daily stars model is what we display in the chart. So it's just that same timestamp, but also the total numbers of stars on that day. And logic's pretty straightforward. All we're doing is we start with 0 stars, and then every time, and just iterating through the list. So for every date, I do a plus total stars. And so now I know you had 1 star on the first date and 2 stars on the second date. And then to fix this problem we were just talking about, where the chart did not extend through the most recent day, I do a quick check to see if the most recent day is not today, then just add in another data point. So we're not incrementing the total stars. That stays flat, which is why we get this nice flat line here. But, and just add in one more data point that includes today's date. So that one wasn't too bad. But my biggest challenge was this one, what we're going to call the auto zoom. And so let me show you what I mean by this. Well, let's show off. So let's show off Xamarin Community Toolkit. I'm one of the, I wouldn't call myself an admin, but I have, I have a lot of privileges that I probably shouldn't on this repo. Nah, it's a good thing. But yeah, if you look at the stars on this repo, steady climb. It started back in January 2017. Climb. Nothing really happened, and then you can see when this was announced. Probably was announced at Build or some conference, right? Where we said, or the Xamarin Forms team said, hey, for Xamarin Forms 5.0, we have to choose what we want to keep and maintain. And then we also have to unfortunately choose what we can't. And so there was a couple things marked as experimental in Xamarin Forms version 4.8 that didn't make it into version 5 because of, well, there's more history around that with .NET 6 and Maui and all this evolution going on. But long story short, those experimental features moved to the Xamarin Community Toolkit. So that's when we had this huge spike right here. Boom, took off like a rocket ship. Good. But is this what you want to see when you first glance at the chart? And I'm being completely selfish here when I was putting this together. Let's turn off let's go ahead and disable my break reminder. Yeah, when I was putting together this chart and thinking about like, what do I want to see? Well, I want to see relevant, recent info. And like we were chatting about earlier, do I really care how many stars I had in 2017? I mean, maybe once. So like maybe once I'll zoom out to be like, oh, how old was this repo? Or when did I hit 100 stars? But in day to day, the way I use this app, and I assume most people use this app, is we're checking this once a day, a couple times a day to see what the latest activity is. So like the views and clones on the GitTrends repo, I'm looking to see, is there a spike in views or clones or anything new that I should be aware of? And so for this graph, I want to have a similar experience. I want to show the most relevant data. So we have this auto zoom, and actually you can see it here because it's kind of subtle. And this is where we're going to, again, get into the minutia, and I really want to know what everybody thinks because, Luis, you'll notice the y-axis doesn't start at 0 anymore. It's probably like 180. Actually, it is 180. And I know that because it'll auto zoom to the 100 most recent stars. Or if the repo doesn't have 100 stars yet, it'll show a year of data. If there's at least 10 stars in the most recent year. So like some weird caveats here, but I'll explain what's going on, or explain what I was thinking at least. And so yeah, if your repo has hundreds of stars, thousands of stars, do you really need to see all that? My thought is no, because you want to see the most recent trending data, right? This is GitTrends we're talking about. We want to make sure that we're trending up, like this GitTrends or the GitTrends repo. This is a little inception here, but we see we're still gaining stars. There's still people finding the repo. They're enjoying the repo. And the star is kind of like a bookmark or some people use it as a bookmark to come find the repo again later. Some people use it as like a thank you. Like some people just say like, hey, this is really cool. So whatever, they leave a star, and we want to just see the trend. And so we'll stay in GitTrends for a second. So this shows me that we're trending up. Everything looks good. This repo hasn't gotten stale, and we can always zoom out and we can get back to that 0 down here on the y-axis and when the repo was first created. Oh wow, it's been over a year now. And so that data is all still there, but we show you the most relevant data by default. Now, GitTrends is a repo with over 100 stars. So that one is why we zoom to 100. But for repos like, here's the Xamarin 101. This is a video series I did with my colleague, Matt Sokup. If you just Google Channel 9 Xamarin 101, you'll see a bunch of introductory Xamarin videos we made. And while this gets a ton of views, this one's actually pretty interesting. It gets tons of views, like 1,000 views in the last 2 weeks, but it only has 17 stars. And yeah, I mean, you never really know what's going on, but Matt and I think that because these 101 series are made for new developers who are new to Xamarin, there's also a likely chance that a lot of these developers are just new to the developer world in general. So maybe they just don't star, or maybe they don't even have a GitHub account.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe we just wrote really bad code and they hate it, which I hope is not the reason. But anyways, yeah, if we check out this chart, there's not a lot of activity. So I still want to show a nice snapshot. But here we'll see that we are showing, let's see, so this is falling into the latest year. So 1 year of data if there's been at least 10 stars in the most recent year. So we can still zoom out and see when this repo was created just over a year ago. But we auto zoom in to, again, just kind of show you relevant data. Now, what I've kind of noticed is playing around with this, you know your repo's gone stale when you get this this plateau here. This kind of flat line is something I've noticed in a bunch of my repos. And where was one? There's let's just start clicking around. We'll find one. Oh yeah, that's a really good one. So that one went stale a while ago. And so again, the idea here, or my thought process here, was not to just to like dump the data into the user, but to give the user relevant data so that you can look at this at a glance. And like for me, I look at this repo and I go, oh wow, this repo was just crushing it up until about April. What happened? And then just like with the other data on like the views and clones chart, it doesn't tell you the whole story. It's never going to tell you what happened, but it just kind of lets you know. It gives you a heads up that like, hey, Brandon, you're getting less traffic to your repo than you might have expected, or weird, like you got a spike in traffic on this day. And then we jump into here and figure out like, where's this traffic coming from? It's all coming from my blog, codetraveler.io. But yeah, man. So what do you think of kind of this, we'll say, weird way I'm handling the auto zoom?
I actually really like the approach because remember
Right.
we were discussing, yeah, we were discussing last session. Should we complicate it and go maybe with like formulas to like identify like the variance, and maybe by how much variance the graph has in a part of it, like we should show
Right.
that section. But then we came into the realization like, should we really complicate this too much? We could just start it slowly with this approach, which I found excellent because makes sense. I just like, if I have more than 100 stars, 100 is a good data sample for me, for my graph, to have like a smooth curve, right? Which is what we're looking for. So I guess we should, yeah, we could probably go with this because we also need to think about what is the time we have available to like dedicate completely to this feature, because we first want to try it out and see like what's the input from the users. So I guess we should just go with this approach, and based on what their feedback and how they like it, we can probably in the future improve it. But this is a
Of
great start.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the only concern I have is that maybe users are used to the fact that this chart will always show 2 weeks. And so that was one of the other things I tried. I mean, I tried a lot of different scenarios with this. So this wasn't my first cut. But
Yeah.
yeah, one of the other scenarios I tried was, what if I default this chart and auto zoom into 2 weeks? Well,
Oh.
that sounds like a great idea, but for most repos, I mean, mobile Blazor
Uh-huh.
bindings, that's
We go
one made
back
by
to
the Xamarin team. Like, that one's pretty popular. But like, if we looked at, let's sort it by stars in reverse. And then where's one with like a couple stars, not a lot of stars. I have way too many repos. There we go. GitHub Xamarin. So 2 weeks on this.
Yeah. We go back to our initial concern, which was getting this weird flat chart, right?
Yeah, so this is what 2 weeks would look like. And that was like the first thing I saw when I tried that out, because yeah, again, my first thought was, this chart's 2 weeks. The users are used to 2 weeks. We should do 2 weeks, but stars just don't work like that. Like, you don't get, like, people just don't star GitHub repos all the time. It's not like you go on Twitter and like things, or you go on Reddit and you upvote things. Like, starring is, don't know about you, but it's not something I take lightly on GitHub.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I don't.
something like earned. I
Yeah,
would say it's kind of like an achievement of the repo to get the star, and like it's we could see like a point in the timeline of that repo that changed, right? So and those changes are not that frequent as you said. So we can just scope it down to such a small range because the data sample there is not going to be enough for us to show something visually that the user can understand, as you said. Yeah, I totally
exactly.
agree.
So yeah, that's kind of why I settled on a year, because if your repo is super popular, 100 most recent is going to be plenty. So like when we're looking at, oh, whoop, forgot to reverse it. Oh, so yeah, like when we're looking at a popular repo like this, that's the 100 most recent stars. Holy cow, this repo got 100 stars just since August 1st. Xamarin Community Toolkit. It's a rocket ship. But
Yeah, ship it.
so like 100 stars, great. Or if you don't have 100 stars a year, great. But yeah, that was one of the toughest parts. Is like, oh, like 2 weeks, definitely not enough. A month sometimes kind of was, but a year
Yeah,
always was good.
because okay, a month could solve the issue because we have like 4 weeks instead of two. But what happened with the repos? Like, go for example to a repo where you have only one star or no stars. So there we have an issue, right? Because uh, yeah, you
Boop.
see,
This is
it
yeah,
breaks.
this is another one. I'm curious what you think about this scenario. And actually, let me jot this down while we're talking about it, because I noticed this too, and I'm glad you brought it up. We'll just say how to handle 1-star repos, because again, this chart doesn't tell you anything. Like, you can't just glance at this and go, I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if we should have an empty state for 0 stars, and I guess empty state in in air quotes for 1 star, because there's no point in this
Oh,
chart.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Because we need at least 2 points to make like a curve, right? If you only have one, it's gonna be like diagonal line like this. Yeah.
yeah, like at least this one again
Yeah.
shows me that it went stale. Oh gosh, this went stale 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
I can look at this chart and I can get data from it
Yeah.
at a glance. And yeah, I think
Yeah. So
this.
definitely we could like probably make one empty state and reuse it depending if it's 0 or 1, right? Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we could definitely do something interesting there with the graphic for that. Maybe when he has the first star, be like, "Hey, you just got your first star. Keep sharing your
Oh,
ripple
I
and
love it.
yeah, something
Yeah.
like that."
Let's let's jot that down. So we'll just call that. I know it's not an empty state, but
Yeah,
we'll call it an empty state for
yeah,
1 star, and then um, include. We'll say congratulation or
yeah,
congratulatory text. I think that's a word.
yeah.
And
Me
then
too. I think.
here, probably something similar, like include
Like
encouraging
you remember
texts.
you remember the empty state we saw when we have like nothing. Let's say we have a section of the app where we want to encourage the user to do something. In this case, we want to encourage him to get his first star, right?
Yeah.
So we could probably say like, hey, right now there's no data to show here, but if you share this with your friends, they can start your repo and keep track of it or something like that. And that way
Yeah.
they can, yeah.
Oh no, where'd my text go? Well, that's a bug.
Oh no, it broke.
Oh man. But
maybe
yeah, it just
maybe
reminded
it's
me.
black. Like maybe
Oh,
the color change or
uh, oh
hopefully
wait,
is the color of the text that changed. If not, the text disappeared.
it's all good.
Let's see.
Like,
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, to quickly test it. Oh yeah, it's the
nope.
text.
That's interesting. The oh, Wait, aren't those supposed to be
Yeah, I
leaves?
noticed this, and I forgot to log this as an issue in the repo. So
Busted.
remember, initially we had the background as white. So
Yes.
so the trees were actually a slightly gray color, and in this case, it
Uh,
turns out it's
ah,
the same gray you use to like give that depth feeling, right? Because if
yep.
you notice here, the image is actually working around the same concept with the sun and the little green trees as well. So as soon as we change the background color, this one got like blended towards it because it's the same color. So probably we're gonna have to
Whoops.
give maybe a white or lighter. Yeah, maybe I'll put them completely white, and that way it works well with the gray background we have, and it's gonna work well with the dark theme as well. So let me write that. Let me add
Here,
it as a
or,
comment.
or just open up. You can open up a new issue if you want. I hope
Yeah.
this isn't. This is probably. I don't know if you
So this will
have the App
be.
Store version installed, but I wonder if the App Store version is also missing
Yeah, I
the
have the App
text.
Store. Oh
We're,
no, you imagine?
we're squashing bugs live.
Yeah. Let me get this connected to my computer, and we can check that out. That text. Ta-ta. Oh, nice. I just went into GitTrends and I noticed a repo I created last year, I think, on regarding like to printing PDFs. Has a ton of views right now. People are looking into that
Nice.
again. Yeah. Let's see. So where do you go for the ones that had no reference, no referring sites? Let's see.
Um, you could go to find a repo that does not have a lot of traffic,
Let me
and then you have a
see.
less chance of there being a
Oh,
referring site.
oh God. Yeah, it's broken.
Oh no! Whoops.
Let me see if I have Visor here so you guys can see it. Yeah, I
Are you
think,
sharing your screen? Nope, that's my screen.
or maybe the stream resource got removed. No? Can we go to
uh,
the code of that SAML and see what's happening there? I mean, not SAML.
that's right. There's
Yeah,
no
our
sample in
C
here.
sharp code.
So, well, we'll debug this live. So yeah, we have this collection view. The collection view has a. Uh,
Title property. I
actually,
don't know.
let's jump into this. It's been a while since empty view. Okay, so we created this empty view class because we are using this empty view for the trends page. We're using it for the repository page and the referring sites page.
Yep.
And so it's got title, description, image source, and let's just make sure we got our bounding set up. So title, description, referring sites view model, empty data view title, empty data view description. Those are just properties in the view model.
Yep.
And
Maybe go to where we define the string resource from the file. The where we assign the localization string.
I mean, yes. Just I want to walk through. So this is a refresh. So when you do a pull to refresh
Oh,
on it,
yeah, yeah.
oh, I think I see the problem already. So, all right, let's see if I'm right. So this description is only set, I think, in one place, if I remember correctly. Yes. So this is kind of weird. And I have no idea if this is even kosher, but I have this property that only has a setter, which I've never done before, but I kind of liked how this turned out, so I kept it. It used to have a getter, but I realized like there was no reason for anybody to get this property. I just had to set it.
Yeah.
And refresh state, just to fill everybody in. this just is a way we can manage state. So either it's uninitialized or succeeded, or maybe your login expired, like any of the things that could go wrong when you do a pull to refresh. And what we're not seeing here is me setting the refresh state. So what definitely got deleted was, not sure about the demo users, how that works. Oh, that's just for the fave icon. So yeah, what we should have done is said reference. Wait, what was that called? Something state? Refresh state. So this should be refresh state equals refresh state succeeded. So if we were able to get the referring sites from GitHub, and then we add the little fave icon next to it, then everything succeeded. And let's see. I have a comment here that says, we don't need to do anything with the... Oh, because this is only in the try catch block here. So, interesting. Because normally... normally I would say... I would put that refresh state here. But yeah, okay. I see what's going on. Basically, probably in some refactor. Because this page... I had to do a lot of performance iterations on it, which is annoying, but just to get that little icon to show up next to the referring site was really challenging. Yeah. Because
I remember we had to like switch the implementation we have for the 5 icon, right? Because it was not working that well initially because of like some sites had it in a different place and it would like mess up what we had and you change it completely.
Super annoying. Yeah, because like this, oh, there is a try catch down here. Okay. Oh, wait, there's refresh state. So we are setting it. Look at me. Look at me being a good developer. Okay, cool. So we can see how it's supposed to work now. Yeah, so if we were able to get all that info from GitHub, then we set it to succeeded. If we caught an exception where you were unauthorized, then we knew that your login had expired, so that's why we set that refresh state. Maximum API limit. The GitHub API only lets you make, is it 5,000 requests per hour? So if a user is a power user and there's refreshing, eventually they'd run out of API requests, and they just have a default for an error. So that's good. Yeah, let's do some debugging here. Boop. Because what should happen when we change the refresh state, then I have this service for, and it's just a bunch of switch statements. So on this page, if the refresh state was succeeded, then it should say no referrals yet. Or like if your login expired, it says login expired.
Nice.
But yeah, let's see what's going on here.
Referring sites, empty state.
I don't need that breakpoint.
I'm also creating the issue for the bug we found. Also, since this is also related to empty state, I'll just include both of them here, the same issue. Because we need to fix the title and the description, and we also need to fix the infographic, change the color of it.
Oh yeah, the graphic. I already forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's weird. We definitely hit this. We definitely changed it, so I notify property change should have been called. It was originally set to uninitialized.
What do we call this UI punishments? Like, are these bugs or are these... I know the title and the description is a bug, but the infographic, ooh. Should we
I mean,
should we consider that really a bug? I mean, visually is a bug.
yeah, no, it's definitely a bug. And yeah, I would say like you could probably call it like referring sites, empty view, bugs, or something like that, or
Yeah.
broken.
Empty state. Yeah. Bugs. Okay. Good. Query sites. Empty state.
And I wonder. I wonder how far this matriculates. So let's do something like this, where because this what I'm curious about is the empty data view broken, or is it something on the referring sites page that's broken? And what we can test is if this repository page, which also has an empty
Yeah.
state. So
If this one gets its title removed as well, then it's something in the empty state. Then.
So I bet I can probably do something like, where is it? Where do I set repositories? Set repositories, add repositories. Do I have a clear repositories? Oh, wait. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Because we have a search in here. Oh, wait. The search bar is gone, too. What the heck? Oh, no. Oh, man.
Wait, what? Let
Falling
me
apart.
check it here. Let me check the store version. No, I have it in Android.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is what I wanted.
Let me see if I have the latest update. Oh, see, yeah, it's working.
So this tells me that the empty state is working because we see the text, the title, description, the image. So, I mean, you mentioned the colors. Empty data view. Yeah, where do we set the colors of this text? Text label. That's the font. And okay, so this is because of the light theme, dark theme. We're using this dynamic resource. And so when we're in dark theme, it should be white. Okay, so that should definitely show up on the black background. And light theme, the text color.
Yeah, that's black.
Oh, wait. I don't even know I'm doing this because I can see the the color's fine.
Yeah.
Duh. Okay. So yeah, we know the color's fine. And let's just double check that binding for the repository page. So repository page, enhance. So collection view, empty view. And so empty view, title property, name of these properties in the view model. And what I want to see is this side by side with the referring sites page. So that's our collection view. That's our collection view. And, I see it. Dang it. I did the binding to the collection view instead of binding to the empty data view. So if I take these out, those bindings should have been down here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was muted. Yeah. I see it.
That's exactly the problem. Well, I hope it is. Watch me. We run it now, and it's like, nope, still
Everything
broken.
crashes.
Oh, bindings. Dang it. This is one of the reasons I'm excited for MVU. No more bindings. Or simplified bindings, simplified state.
Yeah.
This is something that gets really tough with MVVM when you have when you have a lot of properties in your view model that you have to bind to,
Yeah.
that property could be any value. Like a string has infinite possibilities of what it could be. Well, I guess eventually you'll run out of character space. But like a Boolean can be true, false, and int can be a number between -2 to the 7th and +2, whatever. But what ends up happening is for all of those values combined with all of the other property values, that is a different state. And what becomes tough with MVVM is, well, the way we work around this is we essentially we write unit tests to try and check all these different edge cases. So like, what if that integer value is a negative max value, or what if that string's an emoji? And with MVU, because it automatically manages state for us, we don't really have to worry about that. Oh wait, now I gotta find a repo with
Yeah.
no referring sites. Dang it.
Wait, why are we only seeing 2 of your repos here?
Oh, because I'm logged into. I created a GitTrends GitHub account.
Oh,
and
nice.
This is
So wait, do we have an organization for GitTrends now?
What?
Do we have like a little GitHub organization for GitTrends now?
We sure do.
Yeah, you can put the logo there, and we can have it like in our profile.
Boom.
So nice.
I created this because of the OAuth flow. Maybe we can see it here if I disconnect, and it's going to show me.
Oh yeah,
dang it. I'm already logged in.
Yeah. When it shows you the permission requests in the scope and stuff, it was gonna tell you that your account is requesting permission. So the user's gonna be like, okay, who is Brandon Minnick and what does he want to do with my repos?
Right. No, that's exactly the feedback that we got during the beta testing. Was somebody was like, hey man, it's like, I understand how this works because I've used the GitHub OAuth flow before, and I know you don't have access to anything. Like, this is just an app that happens to be under your account. He's like, but yeah, it looks weird that it says like Brandon Minnick wants access to your repos. And we talked about last week, we got our first 1-star review because of the way GitHub's authorization works. Like their OAuth scopes are very we'll say silly. So like, I can't just request read-only access to public repos. The best I can do is use this public repo scope, which includes write access. And so, yeah, like we got a 1-star review because somebody's like, this app looks great, but I don't want to give it write access to my public repos. And I'm like, I agree with you, man. Like, I wish I didn't have to either. But I'll show you. Let's see what are the odds he updated that review?
Yeah, so where did we get it? In iOS or Android?
Android.
Oh.
So there's the 1-star review.
Oh, God. It's still there.
There he is. Oh, look at that clean design. Luis, nice. All right.
That was the first time I did that.
Yeah, back in March.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to give it read and write. And I'm like, me neither, but I can't do anything that GitHub doesn't let me do because this app just gets your data from GitHub. But anyways, so when we were running the beta, it was just my GitHub account. It was like, Brandon Minnick wants write access to your repos. And that's why I spun up that GitTrends account. Also, because I figured it'd be a good thing to have if we ever wanted to switch over to it. But I also did that with Code Traveler. Like after this, I got inspired. So I was like, oh wait, no, that's not me. I must have done the Code Traveler. So I figured I'd grab some GitHub accounts just in case I wanted to use them in the future.
It's like, so now you're using GitHub accounts like the domains, when you have like a nickname or a user, you buy the domain just in case someone comes across.
A little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But now I'm getting an error, and I think I saw this when right before we were spinning up the stream, but let's figure out what this error is all about, because to be honest, I'm not sure why I'm getting this error. So
What
let's
did the
do...
error say? I couldn't get to see it.
I'll show it to you in 1 second. Let me get these breakpoints in.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, well, you won't get to see it because I have the breakpoints in.
You
Dang.
picked it.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what that error is. Oh, this is
API?
interesting.
Oh, what?
Well, I expected this. Because I was working on the app earlier, and when I kick off unit tests and UI tests, when I commit code, it automatically kicks off tests, and they use my token. But what's not good is that's supposed to be caught up here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true.
So
Why is it falling down to this one?
good question. It's a system.exception. That's weird. So normally, and man, I thought I had this logic rock solid. I wonder what happened. Because but why is it a system.exception? Because yeah, normally it's an API exception, and we can check the status code to see that it's forbidden. But a system.exception, that doesn't give us anything other than a message.
Yeah.
That's frustrating because there's nothing special about this, and I hate just like catching exceptions. I wonder if I'm throwing that. Execute GraphQL request. Ooh. Maybe this one's self-induced. Let's see. Where is that? Execute GraphQL request. This method. So let's see if I'm throwing that. I was trying to be clever and like reuse code for my GraphQL. Ooh, I'm throwing that. So this is something new with the GitHub API. Okay, this is kind of cool. So the GitHub GraphQL API is giving me that error message.
Additional entries. What do we have in additional entries?
Oh, good eye. Type, rate limited.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, this is all. Use that type. This is all GraphQL stuff. Wow. Okay. I guess I should show. Well, let's see. GitHub GraphQL API. We'll just go a little deeper into this rabbit hole. Because if you haven't used GraphQL before, you probably have no idea what's going on. And that's okay, because there's a easy way to show off how GraphQL works. Hopefully this all works in the browser. Let's see. Can I run it? Boom. So just a quick GraphQL tutorial. When you submit a request to a GraphQL API, you tell it exactly what you want, and it returns exactly what you asked for. So, for example, I did a query. In the GraphQL world, a query is like a GET request. It's read-only. Just like, I'm going to ask you for data, and you're going to give me data back. I'm not changing anything server-side. GraphQL mutation is the opposite. That means we're changing something on the server, whether it's a create, an update, a delete. But what's really cool with GraphQL, and why I highly recommend it for everybody in the mobile world, is because you can literally shape your data from the client side. And what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, something that's really cool is the docs are just baked in. This is a tool called Graphql that you get for free whenever you just stand up a GraphQL API. And this is basically just, I think this is done in with the npm package, but if we're doing it in C#, this is just a NuGet package you slap into your app, and you get this graphical user interface called Graphql. And what's really cool is it's self-documenting. So Graphql will crawl your GraphQL API and figure out all the different queries and mutations you can make. So like GitHub didn't write any of these docs. They just got them all for free from Graphql. And so what we're saying here on the left is I'm saying I'm querying for a viewer. So this is a viewer, and the viewer returns a model of type user. And if I dig into user, I can see what are all the fields that a user returns. So like right now we're asking for that user's login. I could ask for the user's bio. I could ask for the company. And anything I put here, it's going to send me back in my JSON. And so the GraphQL response is always JSON. It'll always come back with the inside of this data object. No matter what you ask for, it'll always be inside this data object. And what's great about this is, or what's great about GraphQL in general is it gives me exactly what I asked for, and I don't have to do multiple round trips. So what I mean by this is like, if I want to see, is repositories in here? Yeah. So I can just get repositories, and let's just ask for like the first 100. Now let's do 10 repositories. And then for each repository, I can ask for, come back. Maybe I should look at the docs. What is a repository going to give me?
Yeah, but it's actually nice that this automatically like generates all the docs for you here. It's like, this is kind of like Swagger, but for the equivalent in GraphQL, right?
Pretty much, yeah. But like you literally don't have to do anything. Like with Swagger, you still have to do a couple things.
Yeah, like a couple setups and stuff, but this one just comes out of the box. That's really nice.
Yeah, and like this graphical tool is so nice to play with, because like what we're doing here, I've never made this query before. We're just doing it on the fly because I can look at. What I just did, I clicked on. I was like, "What does repositories return?" Repositories returns a repository connection object, and then inside of there, they call it a node, and this is where we can get the repository info. And so this is where I can get things like probably the name of the repo that says created at. This is where we get like the stars and stuff. But anyways, I just wanted to show everybody, when you run this, you'll get all this data in one round trip. Whereas in REST, normally I would have to first hit the viewer API. So like, what is my user ID, right? So I would get that user ID, and then I would say, for this user ID, send me every repository. And then to go a step deeper, like for every repository, then give me the Stargazer info. And like, those are all round trips. So you end up making dozens, if not hundreds of round trips, because you have to ask for one thing, and then you can get the repositories. And then once you get each repository, then for each repository, you can get the star count. And so GraphQL is amazing, but
that's nice.
If you do something wrong, like let's just ask for something that doesn't exist, instead of returning data back, it returns errors.
Nice.
And the errors look like this, where it'll include a message. So what we're seeing in our code is the message about the API request limit. And then it'll give you some more information, like this is literally the location where we hit an error. So like line 2, column 3 of my query. So line 2, column 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, that's the error. So it's pretty cool, but how I'm handling it in C#, because let's be honest, GraphQL is still like a new frontier for C# developers, is that response. This is how I just have this class called GraphQL response. And so either you have data or you have errors. And something that's I'm kind of realizing right now is the way I was handling the API requests, I guess I should say there's a mix of REST and GraphQL in GitTrends because GitHub hasn't fully added everything to its GraphQL backend yet. So its REST API is still live. That's the GitHub API v3. GitHub API v4 is the GraphQL API, and certain info like views and clones, I still have to hit the REST API to get that. But with the REST API, it'll give me back the correct response, like the 401 unauthorized.
Yeah.
But here, it looks like GraphQL is just returning like an OK. I don't think I have the code set up to be able to see its actual HTTP response. But that's something I'll have to figure out. Because like there's an easy thing I could do right now is repository. Oh, did I close it? Repository view model. Where'd you go?
So this this error we're getting, it's only happening for your account, right? Because all the tests you're running with logged in into your GitHub account. So the rate, I mean, I guess the question is, so the users of the app, are they gonna have this occur to them?
Oh, certainly. Because, well, I say certainly, but only if they hit that 5,000 API requests per hour maximum limit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, I'll tell you what.
So yeah, it's
I don't want to go on too far of a tangent. Well, we already did.
It's per account basis instead of like whole, like, because there's some services that you have like cap for the service account that is consuming the data, right? But here, that cap is for user that is signed in into GitHub in our app. So it gives us the flexibility to give them all these requests and like manage it on the user level instead of like the whole app level, right? Like it's not like your requests get added to mine and that makes 5,000.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like 5,000 for each. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is for your GitHub account.
Yeah.
So what's kind of interesting, if maybe I have other tools that use my that I'm also using GitHub OAuth with. Like, what's interesting, I saw this happen. Oh, let's see if it still fails. Oh, now it's working. We must have crossed over that 1 hour time limit. But
Nice.
Interesting things that I noticed, like App Center.
Yeah.
App Center, you can connect to your GitHub account to do the automatic builds and clones with the webhooks.
Yeah.
And it won't do it now because it looks like I've reset my API request. Yeah. But yeah, there was one day where I was working on GitTrends and I went to view the latest build status on App Center, and it was like, App Center can't connect to GitHub. And it told me to like disconnect my account, but when I disconnect from GitHub, then I had to rebuild all of my CI branches, and it was a mess, all because App Center didn't handle this maximum API limit. And so that's why I kind of went above and beyond in this app to handle this maximum API limit. We show specific error state and all this code is definitely going above and beyond, but again,
but it's just really helpful when
just in case.
Yeah, because
I don't want that 1-star review.
We literally just used it, and it was really helpful to figure out what was like breaking, right? If we didn't have that, probably we would have taken a lot longer to find that issue.
Yeah, I mean, something easy I could do, because I have this. I'll have to marinate on this, but yeah, because the first API request hits the GraphQL API, and then the second API request to get the views and clones data, that hits the REST API. And so if I just hit the REST API first, then I don't have to handle any of this GraphQL error stuff, and I could cheat a little bit. But Yeah, let me just jot this down while we're talking about it. This way I don't forget. What do we even put here? Should probably put a link to the code where I found the error happening.
Yeah, I already added
More bugs.
Yeah, for the recurring sites. Do we have anything else we found beside that?
I hope
I
not,
think,
man.
yeah, I think it was only that. Oh, you
We'll have
saw
to.
the search icon, but I ran it. I ran it in my device, my physical device, and it was working. So I don't know, maybe if it was something with the simulator or something.
Or it could just be this version of the app because we've been adding a bunch of stuff for V2.
Oh yeah. Because you run the development one, you didn't run the store one. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So let's copy this permalink. Boom. Let's see. What's that? Execute GraphQL request. Request throws. Exception. Message. Request limit. And I have an error message around that. Wait, I can just Google this. GitHub maximum API requests. Rate limits. Yay. So there it is, 5,000. So just since this is open source, if anybody else finds it, I want to have this. And we'll just say something like, this is currently, this exception is not currently caught in, it's not caught in the proper catch block. Bugs. There we go. So it should be. We'll say handled, caught, proper catch block. How's that look?
Nice.
Probably good enough for me to come back and figure out what's going on later. That's always the hard part, right? It's like,
recalling on what was the exact issue at the moment. Yeah, but you also now are gonna have the recording of this session, so
that's
when
right.
you go back, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, look at the error here running and everything.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so we fixed the bug. Oh, that's right. Okay. Let's go all the way back because we fixed this bug with the empty view. And while I was working on it, I was like, this really should be.
Should I update the image resource and send it to you so you can do both things that both exist in the same commit? Because that's just replacing an image resource.
Yeah, we can do that.
Give me a second. Let me grab that from LOXD.
And yeah, so what I was gonna say, just because we found this broken in the production app, that told me that this bug exists on the main branch, and sure enough, it does. So we'll commit it to main, and then we can bring it into our star tracking branch.
Yeah. So we can do like a hot fix for this. Yeah.
It has been a while since we pushed out a release.
Yeah, it's true. I went before opening to take the screenshot. If you go to the issues, there you can see a screenshot I generated for what we found. I actually was expecting to have like an update pending, and no. So I think that it's been a long time. There you go. Okay, let me export this.
Yeah, looks like back in August.
Export. Export selected.
I wonder what I've changed since then. This is something I love about the GitHub desktop GUI. It gives you a little tag here in your commit history. And so then you can just kind of walk through and see everything that's changed since you
Oh yeah, yeah,
released the last version to the App Store.
yeah. That definitely helps a lot when you're trying to see the changes in past commits.
Oh
So
man, I
right
got all the
now,
favorite stuff on the master branch, or the main branch.
oh wait, you committed. Also, if you push this, if you push this update, the favorite thing is gonna go. Yeah,
I mean, the UI hasn't been implemented,
yeah.
so this is just
So
stuff in the background, and
yeah,
we've got
it shouldn't matter. Yeah, that's true.
we've got enough unit tests and UI tests to make sure that everything is still solid.
Yeah, true.
Cool. How are you sending the image over? Are you putting that in the issue?
Yes. So let me just quickly share my screen here so they can see how I'm generating the image. This should be like 5 minutes. Let's like wait 5 minutes. Share screen. Okay, let's put it in the second. Okay. Okay, I'm reorganizing my
No worries. Yeah, let me know when yours is up, and I can
yeah. Let's see.
come back and hang out.
Okay. All right. Screen one. There you go. And mine should now be up. Yeah. Good.
There you are.
So now what we said we were gonna do is basically fix the image resource issue we're having, which is like a visual bug. We can replicate it here. So we verify it's gonna be fixed. So this is basically what's happening in the app. Since the background we have it of the same light gray, a similar gray color to what the trees are. Because this is, if you see it closely, it's not actually white. It's kind of like light gray. So the fix for this, not code related, is just messing around with your resources. It says, remember, since we're using SVGs, always use SVGs for your images, because now we can just go directly to the little like bushes of the tree, select it, and I can just come here and set it to white. And that way we're fixing the issue without having to like change the whole image completely, because since we have the ability to edit it, each part of it, all the colors, we can just recreate a new one, right? So now that we have it here, we see how it's gonna look. I think that looks pretty good. Has good contrast between the light
Yeah,
gray and the white.
it surprisingly pops. I was worried those colors are going to be too close, but
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
totally
because
works.
this is the same effect we're getting with the cards, remember? The only
Smart.
difference is that this doesn't have like a little shadow on the corner. I mean on the borders, but it doesn't really need it because of the style of this image, right? But yeah, see it pops a lot. So now we just, to export this, we just let me select everything, group it as a single image, single SVG. Now we select it again, and we can, once we select it, we go to File, we go to Export, we select Export Selected. Once we have this, let me see where I'm gonna put this. GitTrends. This is the repo, so I don't want to put it in the repo. Let me put it here. I
Oh,
have one. Echo project.
1 second. Hang on. I'll push a branch right now to GitHub.
Oh yeah, I can just upload it to that branch then. Yeah.
And yeah, I'll commit my changes. So fixed, this is empty data view title, empty data view dot description.
So, I think I have this, and yeah.
Oh, so let's see. In that issue, I guess what I can do now, I can open the pull request as a draft, and then we can link it to the issue, and then let's see. How do I do it as a draft? Create draft pull request. There we go.
Okay, so this is refer empty referring. I forgot how to write referring. Is it double R, right?
I think so, man. We made that typo like 100 times. We were working on this.
Yeah.
I think it might still be somewhere in the code base spelled wrong because
yeah.
I think there was one like it was the image name or something. And I was like I'd have to change all the image resources, then update all the code. It's all hard coded strings because I was like, that's fine.
Yeah. Nobody really cares about that. And it's just so like those words that you can be speaking English however much you want, like however long, but there's always like some words that have like a certain amount of duplicated letters, and you're just how many letters were they actually?
Yep, I have no idea.
Project. So I see in the Adobe XD project I put it with double R, so I went with that. If someone in the chat knows the correct one, if that's not correct, put it in the chat and we can maybe correct it before I do the PR.
Fix our bugs, fix our typos.
Yeah. Here it is. Okay. So I was just looking at the
repo. We are using the scaled images, so we're not using SVGs for these.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you now. If we're using SVGs, or do we have the images inside of the like resource folder?
Now these were images, and I want to say that was done on purpose, but I don't remember.
Yeah, because remember the session where I was talking about iconography, and when the images get too big like this, it's no longer good to have them as SVGs, because remember, all of this is getting calculated at runtime to be rendered. So the more big and more complex they are, like you see all the little branches and all the pods, that gives you more overhead when rendering, right? So since it's that big and it's so complex, we just create the image resource, make it scale it for each resolution, and that's it. So yeah, all of these empty state resources are all images, I believe. The SVGs we're using for the icons of the app, yeah.
Yeah, like those little eyeballs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I just
shout out to Brandon for creating.
I made that.
Ground up. And I come for the GitTrends app. Yeah, this little.
I didn't make it from the ground up. All I did was I copied the other one.
And you cut it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was some like there's some shape to that eyeball in the background, just like the clones cloud too.
Yeah.
Did the same thing there, and
you tweaked this arrow. Yeah.
You gotta be good. You can't just. It wasn't just a simple copy paste, but
yeah.
I mean, you can also see now that you're zoomed in. You see the eyeball. It doesn't perfectly follow the contour. And
here.
That's because I'm not an expert with SVGs, and literally I was like, close enough. Nobody's ever gonna zoom in and see this.
yeah. Like if you have it on this zoom, which is like the normal one, the user's gonna see it. it's close enough. And either way, if someone asks, it's our own style of the icons for our app, okay?
Yeah,
If you have
totally
a
done on
problem,
purpose.
it's totally on purpose.
Not because I was too lazy to spend another hour trying to fine tune it. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Source three. So let me
Oh yeah.
open
So
here.
I've got a draft pull request open right now,
Yeah, let's see.
and you should be able to jump into that one.
This open in my other screen here. Okay. So, oh, nice. I had GitTrends open and everything here.
Ooh, I haven't seen source tree in a while.
Yeah. uh, uh, you said you created a main branch, which is the one we're using now, right? This one. Wait, I think I have changes because of the. Okay, let me stash this and put it on the main branch. We're deprecating the master branch.
Oh, yeah. I branched off of main, and I created a branch for myself called fix referring sites page empty state,
Yeah, good.
and then
Okay.
that way I could open a pull request that you could contribute to.
Okay, let me source
'Cause
three. Let me
you know,
stash.
sometimes I would just contribute straight to the main branch.
Yeah, like if it's a small changes that you know are good, just why going through the hassle to make the PR and then yeah.
That's say one of the benefits of being we'll say a small team.
Yeah.
But usually if I'm the only maintainer on a repo, then yeah, I'll commit just straight to the main branch. But anytime you get more than a couple people involved, then things can
Yeah.
really start to get messy.
I agree. Okay, so I have it here.
Yep, it's that one at the top.
So this is the one, right? Okay.
Yep. So I just committed that binding fix.
Okay. So now I should be able to pop my stash. Stash pop, I think it is. Yep. Okay. So because I use Source Tree, but it's not like I'm a super user of Source Tree. Like it has so many options, and I come from the terminal era, right? So I do most of the stuff in Source Tree now because Randy converted me like years ago to it. But like little commands like stash and revert, like
Right.
hard reset and stuff like that, I like doing here because sometimes I get so many pop-ups here, like confirmation. I'm like, yes, I know what I want to do. Just do it, please.
And then you go,
Stop
shoot,
asking me.
I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you board me?
Yeah, that's true. Uh, okay, so updated. Oh wait, so I'll do two commits. Updated git trends. Hello project with what changes do we do here?
Oh, it's going to bring in the stars too. Yeah.
Yeah, the mockups we did for the star tracker. So let's add this.
That's. Oh
with,
man, I was just thinking about those recently. So I was like, I remember them and I can see them in my head, but they hadn't been committed to the repo. So when I was working on the charts, I was kind of like, well, I know we mocked it out, but I was like, maybe I'll wait till the stream so I can see the mockups again.
Yeah, star track mockup and fix for empty state. And fix for referring sites empty state. So
Love it.
now that we're solving this white issue here, I wonder if we have it replicated in any of our other assets. Let's see. Oh,
question.
maybe this one. See? Because it has the same gray. Let me go ahead and change all the backgrounds of these apps so we can see it. Yeah. Yeah, see? Here it kind of like blends.
Fascinating. Because
Yeah.
I'm guilty of only using the app in dark mode.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It's
That's why I think it skipped you because I know you prefer dark theme. So since everything was like gray, it looks
Right.
good in dark theme, and it messed up in light theme. Yeah. There you go. Okay, so this one is good. We only need to tweak this one as well. So remember, guys, this is pretty straightforward. Just select the objects in the SVG. You want to modify the color, right? So to group select everything dynamically, how I'm doing, I hold
Oh,
down the
little
shift
plants down
key.
there.
Yeah, I hold down the shift key and then I click each thing I want to select, and that's how you get like the whole selection. Because I didn't want to go like one by one and update the color, right? So now I just update it to a white color, and yeah, I think that should work now. Uh,
Hmm.
does it?
Yeah, that one looks weird with white.
Yeah, because I think since it's the area of the object is so small, I
Yeah.
think it gets lost. So maybe we could change this to another color. Let's see. Uh, let's go to
There's
our
that
palette here. Maybe we can use this brownish color we have here. Let's see. Let's see what we have. Okay, we have our primary color. Oh, so maybe we can use what we're using for accent, right? One of these.
Oh, we can match it to, yeah, like the views or the clones color.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Something kind of clever because you don't have any views and clones yet.
Oh, and how many we have? How many colors we have here? Four. One, two. How many lines do we have? One, two, three. Yeah, we can probably use three of these colors, and each line we could like set it to a different color or something like that, or use only one. Let's try both of the options, right?
Only one. Definitely only one.
Only one. Okay.
We're doing
Brother
like
was like,
dynamic
"Yeah, I
colors.
saw it already." Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, should we use multiple? Because then it's gonna be like, too much stuff happening in too little space. So
I was
let's
just thinking
try
like,
which one? Okay, so this is
um,
teal. Definitely, it can't be this one because this is too
yeah,
similar.
I think that
Maybe this one.
a dark purple would work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
try
this
them all.
one. Oh, nice. Hey,
I don't know.
it kind of blends too much with this one. It doesn't pop up
Yeah,
enough. Yeah. So maybe we need this one that is
yeah,
a
maybe like a brighter
bit.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I forgot the little leaves here. Okay, so let's try this. Ooh. Oh wait, I forgot the dots here. I like this one. What do you think about this one? Still too dark? Maybe we need a lighter theme of this one.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that works.
you do? Let's see.
I would say, I think if you change the plant,
Oh, and make it teal.
yeah, or something less subtle. The orange almost makes it look like something's on fire.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that works. Nice. Look at us. Designers at work. Creating our own icons. Okay, so yeah, I think this works.
Ooh, you know what?
Let me replicate it to
Uh,
the.
no, that's good.
What happened?
Well, I was just thinking, because I was thinking that that green color was the same color we were using for the views icon, and I was about
Uh,
to say, what if we did yellow instead of the red to match the clones icon, and then it's like views and clones. But then I
yeah,
realized that we weren't using the green,
yeah,
but
but oh look,
maybe we
and
do.
look how this went behind the line.
Oh
So
no.
this, yeah, we need to bring that. Bring to front. There you go. But yeah, I actually like that idea. Yeah, because then this is like related to this, right? Okay, so
Yeah, some like a subtle nod to it.
yeah, let's try that. Let's try that. Okay.
And we could always Control Z if we don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like
Okay.
it.
Okay.
It popped up right away. Okay, why am I so zoomed out? Making it harder for myself to select the lines. Like, what am I trying to prove here?
You got excellent mouse skills.
Yeah. There you go. And yellow. Ah,
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh no, it looks terrible.
Yeah, the yellow
Delete it.
with the gray. Burn it with fire. The,
Yeah, that
the
yellow
yellow
on
with,
the gray. Oh,
yeah, doesn't work right. So we could probably leave this orange with this tone of uh, blue. I
oh
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and then we can leave the little leaves with the teal here. And yeah, it looks good. I like it like this.
Now the only thing to keep in mind is the way we have it set up right now is this empty state image is the exact same on light and dark theme.
Yeah, yeah. So now after we
Yeah,
finish,
so it's just like because it doesn't even matter if it looks great on light theme because if
yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't also look great on dark theme, then
yeah. Let's see. The good thing is
oh
that
no, that looks good.
if we go back to the recommendations we provided in the dark session, we were saying that saturated colors we should stay away from in dark theme. But if it's for like small details and like icons and stuff like that, we can definitely use it. And since we're using the colors from the light theme, we know all of these colors here are saturated, right? So that's why like they pop up so hard in the dark background here. So actually for dark theme, if this was something else like text or something, we should probably change this to this version of the colors, which is the less saturated one and looks like more smooth. But since it's an icon, we can definitely use it, and it gives it like a more like like a better engagement to the user. Like he directly is gonna go to this icon here.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
Did we test the
Yeah.
new icon on light theme and dark theme for the referring sites page too?
Yep.
Cool.
I updated it. Oh no, wait, I'm lying.
It looks great.
I didn't. Yeah, I'm lying. I didn't update this one. Now I updated.
Looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think we're good here. The document file has been changed by another application. What? What other application? Who's using my
Ooh,
file?
source tree getting in the way.
Oh, because I'm trying to do the commit, maybe? Oh, yeah. You see how it updated here? Oh, okay. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, I think that should work for now. Now let's just export this one as well. Export, selected. So this one is called empty insights chart. And we're gonna export for Android, and you're gonna say at what scale did you design this? Because based on that scale, Adobe XD is gonna generate all the other resources for your folders, right? The image resources for each of the folders. So it's gonna scale down or scale up. The intent, since it's an SVG right now, it's gonna scale it with really good quality.
So convenient.
Empty already exists. Do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. So now let's see if that worked. We go to the folder, the icons folder in my GitTrends local directory. Yeah, I see the referring list. Wait, isn't this like gray? Am I going
It
crazy?
looks gray.
Yeah. Well, what happened here?
Oh, hang on. Did you also fix the color of their eyeballs? I just noticed those when you had that big image zoomed in.
Of their
Or it probably
iPhone?
doesn't matter because they're not white on white.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because they have a
yeah,
border around them, so it probably
yeah.
doesn't
Since
matter.
they have like this little background here for their body, this doesn't get mixed. Yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, here we are good as well. So I don't know you, but I see it great. I'm gonna try and export that one again. uh, I'm not trusting my eyes right now. Just to double check. Ta, 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 ta. Referring sites. This one. Replace. So let's see. What? Why do I have two now? Okay, 747. Okay, so let's
So,
delete all of these old ones.
could we do something while we're making this change?
Yeah, sure.
Because I was just looking through. Dang it, I have too many windows open. So, in the mockups, it says no insights. And when we finally released it, we ended up changing that to say no traffic.
Oh yeah, we can update
But
that.
the images in the app are still it's still called empty insights chart. So
Should we rename that? Uh,
so yeah, because what I'm let's see
so how
with
should we
the
name?
with the new stars UI,
Yeah,
I and I don't even know if this is a great naming convention, but we have the stars chart and view clones chart
yeah,
as how I named it in the code. But really, I would consider this traffic, right?
yeah.
Or no?
So
Oh,
maybe
wait,
like
is that what I
clones,
just said?
traffic, stars, something
Yeah,
like
right
that.
now we're saying no traffic yet. So yeah, maybe this is like we. I'm just literally talking about the naming of the file. So we say like empty traffic chart
Anti-trans traffic chart. Then we create a big name.
because yeah,
Um,
the error message is going to say no traffic yet, and this is again something that the user is never going to see. This we're just talking about the image name for the
yeah,
file in the code. But
yeah,
yeah,
because
let's
this
just call it
empty
like
state. Yeah, yeah, this is traffic, definitely.
that's an empty
Yeah,
instead
empty
of
traffic.
insights. Just replace that with traffic, and I think
Yeah,
that'll make more sense for
true.
if somebody else decides to open a pull request and work on this code in the future.
Ship it. And since I'm lazy, guys, something you can do is, since we're gonna rename the files, I'll just export it again with my new file name, and then I'll just select all of the old ones and delete them together instead of like going to each one of them and like renaming the file. So what did we say we're going to call this? Empty traffic chart.
And yeah,
Chart.
because all the other ones I think are called
Traffic
something chart,
chart.
right?
And now we have this little like C situation going here, but it's okay. Anti-traffic chart. There you go. Android PNG. Yeah, good. So now we go back to our folder here. And I should have actually generated this in the same GitTrends repo. So I don't even need to add them to the folders. Yep, let's do that. Okay, so more laziness, guys. Because this is a local folder I have for GitTrends, like with all the image resources and stuff. This is not the repo. So I have the repo as well on my computer. What I'm saying is, since I have it in my local folder, and I have them like in each of these folders, if I go and now migrate it to the repo, I'll have to go to each folder and copy paste and whatnot. But Adobe Z already puts it in all of the files. So let's just generate it again, but in the repo instead of generating it in my local thing, right? I already have my backup. Now I want to generate it in the repo. Select. So let's version control. This is where I have like, oh my god, I have so many rows here. Let's see. GitTrends G. Let me just type it. Okay, that's not working. Here it is. GitTrends Android. Da, 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 da. Resources. There you go. Oh, and we have the night resources. Did you actually replicate the images in the night folders, or is it
Just
just
checking
using
that.
the yeah?
I don't think so because night will override drawable-night overrides drawable,
Yeah,
but if there's nothing in
it's
drawable.night,
gonna
it'll
default
default
to
back.
the
So I
nice.
did not. So you can just put them in just drawable, ignore drawable.night.
Yeah,
Looks like
yeah,
the only thing I have in drawable.night is the default profile image if you're not logged in yet, and then the GitTrends icon if you're in demo mode.
yeah. But the good thing about our images is that we use the same image for both because we made the colors in a way so they can just be reused, right? So we can just use the default, let it default to the light team, and we are doing two works in one.
That's right.
So I want to verify what's the name of the referring resource, the empty state of. Oh my god. Yeah,
So which one
what
are
is
you
the
doing
name
right
of the
now? Is
file?
this the you're on
Oh, you
referring
can
sites
see it
page? Okay.
here.
Yeah, it's called
Oh
refer empty referring sites list.
yeah, there you go. So I go back to sources. I already took the name from there, and
Nice.
this should work. That's it.
That's so cool.
Yes, place, and we'll
Scaling
double
images is
check.
such a pain.
Yeah, adding them one by one when I had to do it, like that was one of my most painful things when learning Xamarin and like getting into mobile development with Android. When I discovered that I had to go to each folder and add this like the old way, I was like, why are we still doing this?
Right? And you have to do the same
Yeah,
with the icons and
and it will consume me. It will consume so much time for me from the
oh
project
man.
just to add the resources. Yeah.
The worst one I found was creating icons for a UWP app. You
Mm.
ever you ever pushed a UWP app to the Microsoft Store? Or is it
Mm,
Microsoft Store or Windows Store? The
no. Are
store?
you talking about the icons for like the previews, like the screenshots and all of that?
Yeah. I've I've only done it twice. And it's been a couple years since I've pushed a UWP app to the store, but I want to say it was like 38 or 42 icon images you had to make for it.
Oh my
It's
god.
insane. Yeah.
No.
Like,
No, thank you. They have to make like two sprints only for the icons. Empty.
yeah, that one was wild. Like at least Android and like iOS is only 3, which isn't too bad. And really you can get away with you don't really need a 1x anymore for iPhones because
Oh,
unless you're targeting a really old version of iOS, the devices you're running can't support the old or the operating system. Wait, what am I trying to say?
you forgot English. Sorry.
Past. uh, once you get past, I don't know. I think it's iOS 7. Then any device that still supports or that'll be running on iOS 8 and above doesn't have the 1x resolution anymore. Like,
Yeah. So
was it like
it's not
the
even
iPhone
worth generating it
3G?
anymore because who's gonna use it? Yeah.
Right. You can have that image in there, but none of the devices will ever use it unless there's not a 2x or not a 3x scaled icon. But yeah, man, these are a pain, and it sucks because you have to do this, otherwise your app doesn't look good.
Yep. Updated. Wait, I think I'm doing this directly in the GitTrends repo. Oh no.
Oh, that's fine. You don't have write access.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So
Updated.
if you commit, it'll either fail or you're doing it on your fork anyways. So don't worry about overwriting anything.
Added empty traffic. Why am I having a hard time reading this traffic chart? Okay, there you go. Image resource that should replace. Oh, let me just delete the other ones. Oh, but then it's gonna break your app until you update it in the code.
That's fine. I'll just do it all in this pull request.
Yeah, I'll just delete it because that'll give you a good idea of like, hey, I have to change this. Version control.
Or I'll just do it right now.
GitTrends. Yeah, let me copy and paste you the name here in the chat so you can have it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Copy paste. Done.
Let me go
save
repo,
commit.
GitTrends. Android. Resources. Let's see. Yeah, so we have it in all of these folders. And since I'm lazy, let's open all of the folders, select them together, and get rid of them.
Look at all those resources.
Yeah. Oh god. It's getting real. Yeah,
dude. This is one of those things that if you've never pushed an app to the App Store, or we'll say developers who have never pushed an app to the App Store, or people who have never made apps, whenever they say it's a super simple app, they don't understand all this stuff that you have to do because like you're just making icons. Like, and if you have a couple images, well, now you have to replicate that, and all this extra overhead going into it. And so I just laugh now when somebody's like, "Oh, you make mobile apps, dude? I got this awesome idea for an app, super simple app." And I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh my
no, like you could just stop right there. It's here's my consulting rate.
Yeah, that's like the common thing. As soon as you tell someone, "Oh, I work as a mobile developer," "Oh, dude, I have always wanted to do this app." "Oh, let's sit down, let's do a meeting," and you're like,
every time, everybody's got the next $1 million idea, and it's like, honestly, most times I get that pitch. I'm just like, "Oh,
yeah,
you should just download this app because somebody's already made it."
Yeah, I at this point now, I feel like that pitch is almost as equally annoying as the pyramid schema businesses like Amway and stuff like that. And someone comes,
you could be your own boss, work from home.
I see them almost like the same pitch.
Pretty much, man. It got to the point where I just moved out of San Francisco, but when I was living there and like you call an Uber, like, and just making small talk with people who you're never going to see again.
Yeah.
I would just say anything other than a mobile app developer, because every time they want to pitch me their app, and then
that never fails. That's so true.
The best part is like you let them get through that whole spiel, and they're like, "Oh, do you think that's something you could help out with?" And then that's when I'll just be like, "Well, yeah. I do consulting on the side, and I think like an app like that would probably cost around $40,000 to $60,000 depending on everything you want to do." And they're like, "What?" It's like, man, like you have to pay money for the stuff. Like,
Yeah, because I don't know why everyone assumes that just doing a mobile app is probably like, oh, like $500, $1,000. Like, let me just go buy an iPhone. Instead of buying the iPhone, I'll just make an app. Okay.
that's, and actually, even when people come to me, I've had some like, we'll say more serious talks with people who know I do consulting on the side that like pitch me the idea, and then yeah, you get to like the cost, and then just like their brain just breaks. Like, oh my gosh, like I thought it was going to be a couple thousand. It's like, kind of, a couple
Yeah.
tens of thousands, but
Yeah.
uh,
And
but honestly, like,
it all goes down back to what we were talking about. Just like all these little considerations you should have for a mobile project, and like just knowing that you have to support all the different platforms. This gives you overhead also in the project. Like there's so much stuff that go into it that it's impossible to not charge around those that range, right? Because you
yeah,
definitely need more than one developer if the project is a little bit complex. I guess if it's not something you're doing on the side, you need more than one developer to do it, right? So
yeah.
everything keeps adding, and yeah, I have not. I don't know how someone can do a mobile development project for less than 5K or something like that. Like
I mean,
just the
unless you're doing it
10K
yourself,
range
like,
is too. That's
uh,
I don't know, fairy tales.
yeah, well, and that's all. These are all U.S. prices. Like, that's usually if somebody is like serious about making an app and they're like starting a business and they really don't have that much, then that's where I'll refer them to folks I know who will
Yeah,
contract overseas.
yeah, yeah.
Because yeah, you can get
It totally
developers.
depends on where you are at the moment, right? And in which market you're the. What is this? Uncommitted changes. What did I miss out?
Oh, I just committed that because I changed the name of the image in the code while we were talking about
Oh,
it.
okay, okay. I haven't commit the merge. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I was like, what's happening? Uh, oh yeah, I'm not in my fork, I guess.
but yeah,
Uh,
just to finish that thought, if anybody does want to make a mobile app or commission a mobile app, you can find great developers. I've worked with developers, Xamarin developers in Eastern Europe, Xamarin developers in India,
yep.
and their hourly rates, like hourly rates for developers in the US, $100 is kind of on the low end. So
Mm,
anywhere from, I would expect to pay anywhere between $80 to $200 for a developer hour in the US, whereas like Eastern Europe, Poland, I think those guys, their rates were closer to 10 to 30. I forget
yep.
what India was charging, but I won't say I was extremely satisfied with the work.
Yeah.
I definitely, when I got it back, like refactored a lot of code. But yeah, I mean, like you have a working mobile app and you can push it to the store. But uh, from a maintainability architecture standpoint, there's a lot of things that I went back and tweaked because I was like, future me will appreciate this.
Yeah.
like we can do this better. But yeah, that's the only concern is like you kind of get what you pay for, but it all depends what you're doing. Like maybe you're throwing a conference, and this conference is only going to be held once. You don't need to iterate over this app over years. Like it's not going to be something you maintain. Yeah, commission somebody, get it on the cheap, and then you can forget about it.
Yep.
But if you're starting a new company and this app like is going to be the cornerstone of your company, like how like Uber is a mobile app. If their mobile app wasn't working or if their mobile app wasn't maintainable, then they don't really have a company.
Yeah.
Then if that's the case, I encourage you to you know make the investment. But I assume everybody that's listening is mobile app developers, and we can do it on our own anyway. So
Yeah.
kind of preaching to the choir.
um. So I have not updated my fork in a long time, so I'll do this.
What's
Uh,
up?
yeah. Because now I need to like update this and go into my computer, find it, and do all that process. And it's already 8, so I don't know if we want to
Ooh.
send the live stream to do that part. What do you say? I could definitely like
Up to
complete
you.
it offline and send you the link of the PR.
Yeah, I mean, so I have. If you want to switch to my screen, I'll show you.
Yeah. Let me switch back to yours.
Uh,
There you go.
so, so yeah, I have this pull request open.
Yeah.
I left it in a draft just to kind of remind me not to auto merge it. So the only thing I've done here is I fixed those bindings that we caught, and then I changed the name. So yeah, if you want to, shoot, how do we do this?
I mean, the other solution is giving me temporary rights to push to your branch. And that way it can just go up and then you complete your PR. But
Yeah, we can
if
do that right
not, I
now.
have to do the yeah. If not, I have to do the PR from my fork and then go through all that thing.
That's what I was just thinking. I did it in reverse because I own the repo and you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Da, da, da. What are you, L? What's your
Pujols,
GitHub username?
yeah, Pujols Luis. So PU,
I always forget if you do your last name first or your.
yeah, last name and then my name. Yeah, there you go. And
Uh, are you
you should
one?
find it.
Like on Twitter?
No, it's only Pujols Luis. Oh, maybe a capital P? Do they?
Oh, it's searching existing collaborators. There we go.
Ah,
That makes more sense.
yeah, there you go. Let me go ahead and accept that. Pa-pa-ra-pa. Notifications. I believe I get this on my phone. I need to update my email for my GitHub though, because when I created this GitHub, I remember I had one of my first emails way back then, and now I only go in to like see updates of maybe my GitHub and stuff like that. Let me
Nah.
see if I set it up with. Yeah,
Ooh, I
here
will
it is. Let
say,
me accept this.
um, don't publish your email address on GitHub. That's a good piece of
Yeah.
advice for everybody. Because what happens is every time you commit, that commit needs your email address. And so your email address is then just saved into the GitHub Ether forever under that
Mm,
commit. And so
true.
if you don't want people finding your personal email address and sending you emails, there's
Yeah.
a privacy setting in GitHub that they'll create basically a forwarding email address for you. Like
Oh,
mine's like a bunch of numbers and plus signs, and it's like user@github.com.
nice.
And
Wait, did you just
yeah,
commit another thing? Let me see.
I don't think so. I think I only have the 2 commits.
Okay, history commit. Yeah, yeah. Okay, perfect. So I should be able to push now. Let's put this back here. Pa, 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 pa. Push to fix referring sites. Push. Da, 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 da. That's everything I'm pushing.
Hey, no
Nice.
errors.
Now let's verify that that came through. Uh, fix referring sites. Ba, ba, ba.
I don't see it on the PR.
Uh, where is the commits? Maybe it's not finished. Let me see. 2 commits ahead.
So yeah, okay. So those are my commits because I did 2.
Update.
No, where'd you push to, man?
No, where is it? Let me see. Fix. referring sites, empty states. Yeah. Merge branch. Da, 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 da. Okay. Maybe it's in my fork, you imagine? But it just complained that I was not in my fork. So
Yeah,
what?
that'd be ironic.
Let's see. Let's see. Repositories.
Now let's see. You didn't commit it to main, so that's good.
What? Nah. Come
What?
on. Why? It,
Oh,
it,
you
it
did it in your
committed to my
fork.
fork. But I thought it gave me the error that I had no access to your.
It definitely gave you an error. The text
Yeah,
was too
like
small. I couldn't read it, but
it gave me the error that I had no access to your repo to do that push. So I know what it is. Okay. Okay. So you have this little setting here. Let me use the accessibility. How did you activate the accessibility? Oh, there it is. No, where is it? How is the accessibility thing on the Mac that you were using, Brandon? I know I have it enabled, but I
oh,
have it on time without using it.
control and then zoom in and out on the trackpad,
Ah,
or like
there
a
it is.
two-finger. Yeah,
Haha. Nice.
nice.
Okay, so for those of you using source tree and having a forked repo, so when you have the fork, you have the two repo like reference here. So for Brandon's, I have upstream, and for my fork, I have origin. Right? You see how this changes here. So I didn't notice that when I did the push of my changes, this was pointing to my fork. But it's also weird that even if this was pointing to this fork, it gave me the error like I did not have access to Brandon's uh, repo. So just to fix the push and make sure you push to the original repo, you change, which should never be the case because you should always do a PR. We like don't do this at home. But yeah, in this case, we want to push directly to Brandon's repo. So we go ahead. Let's zoom out.
And now we should
Look
start
into
seeing some
upstream.
commits.
Yeah. Now
Yep, there you
hopefully
are.
we should see it there. Let's see.
21 files changed.
What? I
That's all
changed
the
the whole
PNGs.
project. Run. Hey, if something blows up, I'm not responsible, okay? It was source tree. If it works, I did it. If it doesn't work, source tree did it. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, I see it there.
Changing drawings is the worst. GitHub has no idea how to handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we made some good progress today in terms of basically you did the work of the auto zoom on during the week, and
Yep.
we got to review the code and see it on the works, and also we brainstorm a little bit about how we could improve this experience, right? And also we got to identify prod bugs that we had actually in the GitTrends app, and we
Yeah,
got to
that was
actually
unexpected.
resolve it. Yeah, I think it
Whoops.
was actually a good experience also for the viewers because they can just see how. Oh my god, I need a little bit of water. So you can continue off of there.
Yeah, but no, totally. It's that that workflow, right? So it's like we saw the bug, and then you kind of have two choices there, because you are well, we were working on something else, and it was like, oh wait, that's weird, that's a bug, and so you have two choices at that point. You can pause whatever you're working on, and just totally shift gears,
Yep.
or you can just kind of document it and move on. And we kind of did both. Like we documented the GitHub maximum API request bug,
Yep.
and kind of was like, you know what? I don't know how to elegantly solve this right now. This is kind of one of those like, I'm gonna need to sleep on it. it's also not impacting many, if any, users. And so that's kind of one that's like, yeah, we can do that later.
Yeah.
Also, it's going to be complex, so let's put some thought into it. And then we caught the other bug. And this one was like, well, fortunately, we were able to fix it on the spot. Like, it was a binding problem, which is why the titles and descriptions weren't appearing. And then noticing those infographics were, or I guess did, blend into the background. And it was kind of like, oh, well, we can fix this right away. And so I think the important thing to note is you want to document both right away, whether you're going to fix it or not, because you're in the mindset. And with programming, it's so easy to forget what you did just an hour ago, let alone a day ago. And so document everything as much as possible, like include links to where the problem is in the code. Like Luis has screenshots here. There you go, adding labels. Yeah, like all this good stuff, because future you will thank you. Otherwise, you're going to have like a sloppy handwritten note that says, don't forget GraphQL bug. And you're going to be like, I don't know, man. I wrote this down on Friday. And you're in the Monday morning stand-up and you're going, does anybody remember what this is? So yeah, thoroughly document stuff, screenshots, links to code as much as you can. And then that's kind of where you have to make the decision. Well, I guess it also depends on, is it your project or not? Maybe the product manager makes the decision, but how much time do you think you have to invest in this? And in our case, we found one that's going to take time and thought with the GraphQL stuff. And we found this one that was like, oh yeah, 2 lines of code and then a couple images. We can knock this out. So definitely.
Something
definitely
I
good.
wanted to ask you as well, Brandon, because a good term to introduce to the viewers is that what we just did is known as a hotfix in a project, right? So how do you actually handle here in the GitTrends open source project? Are you maintaining that a label for hotfix? Do you have like a little project defined, or how would you recommend them to do that? Yeah.
Good question, man. I guess so. To answer your question, I don't. I don't have a process for the hotfixes because right now I've been using milestones, and milestones for me have been basically feature releases. So like if you click the little gear next to milestone, you'll see we have one for 2.0, which is what we're working towards with the new charts and stuff. But yeah, I kind of selfishly, because I'm like the maintainer of the repo, I can just push it. Well, I should say, so here is my flow, right? I'll fix the bug. Actually, something we can do right now, if you don't mind, jump into the repo and update the, oh wait. Oh, I already did update the info P list. Cool. So the info P list and the Android manifest, those numbers need to be versioned up so that we can push it to the store.
Oh yeah.
But it looks like I did that. Good for me. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like your past self or future self will appreciate you. So usually once I release a version to the store, I'll then come back to the GitHub repo and just auto increment those to like a point release. So that's already done, but anyways, yeah. So I'll fix the code, and then my process is you have to build that IPA file for iOS. You have to build the Android app bundle for Android and upload those to the store. And when I do that, that's when I'll create a new release in GitHub. So that's where I'll go create a new release. And if you show one of the latest release, Luis, it should be version 1.3.1 under code. I don't know why they hide it under code.
Yeah.
Then on the right, those releases.
Here.
So these are super valuable. If anybody's on GitHub and not using releases, I highly recommend it, because what you can do, so that AAB file, that IPA file, the DSIM file, those are the files that I've uploaded to the app stores. And when you also create a release, it'll zip up your repository and almost like timestamp it. So like that's archived forever. And what I have here, and the reason I recommend this is it's saved my butt a couple times because I have had to go back to previous versions and do a fix. And but in the meantime, I've done extra code on the main branch. So like what you can do is you can always revert back to that original app. So yeah, if this was probably the best way to do this was, I probably should have reverted back to where the code was in this release in 1.3.1. And we should have just added these changes surgically and then pushing out the hotfix. But what I've also done with this repo is I have a whole suite of unit tests and UI tests. And it's a lot of extra work. But for stuff like this, I can, and I did right before we got on the show today, I made sure all my unit tests were passing. And so like, I know the app still works and it's not going to break anything, even though we've added more to the app than just these couple things. So, so yeah, for hotfixes, we should probably revert back to the previous release, branch off of that tag, and then add in those fixes. But
yeah, I definitely agree with that as well.
But yeah, it's like a solo. As Luis and I are like the only maintainers for this, we can kind of be selfish and
yeah. So the
break the
big
rules a little
project, it's gonna be like Brandon walk you guys through. But if it's something personal you're doing and you know everything is working, you can just go ahead and make a release of this. You don't need to do those branching strategies. But yeah, always keep in mind that in a big project you should think about these things because as we were discussing previously on this session, the more your teams grows, the more messy all the branch management is gonna get, right?
bit.
And all the
Yep.
code is gonna be like. So definitely make sure you're up to date with everything Git has to offer you to manage your code and separate the workflow between all the team members and make use of something like Git flow, right? Some Git strategy like Git flow. So I see it's 8:24. We went over a bit like 20 minutes, but I think it was a good session because in those 20 minutes they got to see how we could like do the release, merge the code together, and basically create the hotfix release we're gonna do for these issues we found, right?
That's right.
So yeah, Brandon, what are we gonna be seeing? Oh, we should probably first announce our idea that we discussed last week. Um, since we have a ton of work ahead of us, right? We have to finish the Star Tracker feature. We also have to work on the About Us feature and the favorite. It's a lot of work, if you guys have noticed, and we're trying to do it everything live so you can get the real experience and see how the thought process is. And if you remember, we said this is a two-step process, right? We have first to do the analysis, do the mockups, brainstorm the ideas. After we decide on a design we want, actually go into the code and implement it. So yeah, analysis and brainstorming can like literally take us the 2 hours. So Brandon had this great idea of, oh, why don't we just make 2 days of the series instead of one. And one day we can take just for analysis, right? And brainstorming and doing mockups and playing around with design. And the next day, which will be so the day we recommended, I mean, we came up with was Wednesday,
Yep.
and the second day will stay like Fridays, right? And we're thinking something like Wednesday could be the day for the planning and I mean, for the requirement analysis and the mockups and all of that. And then once we have that, we have 2 days to go through the analysis, complete everything, and on Friday we can come and just go straight into the code and implement what we analyze on Wednesday. So let us know what you think about that idea. We should the first Wednesday we're gonna start is gonna be next week, I guess, right, Brandon?
Yep.
Yeah. So next week what are we gonna be analyzing, and what are we gonna be doing?
Woo. So we still need to brainstorm the empty state for the star chart. And we touched on it today, but like if there's 0 stars, we want an empty state. And if there's 1 star, we want an empty state. And then we can also work on finalizing that. Right now, I'm just calling it the header, but that text that lives above the chart. We have the mockup, and we've talked about like putting in encouraging, congratulatory phrases, but we haven't really done anything past that. So
we need to finalize that because as you say, we already have the auto zoom, which was like for us, we thought that was gonna be the most effort, right? So we need to finalize those mockup things so we can actually complete this feature now, because we have like the main logic added, but now we need like the little details, right?
Yeah. Oh, and Syncfusion cannot do that rolling average. Or at least I can't figure. I couldn't find it in the documentation. So
okay,
that's something like if we want to do a rolling average, we'd have to do that ourselves, which
not really worth it right now.
Not right now. Maybe like V2.1, because the problem with that is like the days won't align to the specific numbers, and then you're gonna have to introduce rounding because you can't, like with averages, you can't have half a star on one day. So that's one like kick it down the road. That'll be future us problem.
So Wednesday is gonna be a really interesting day, guys. So make sure to write it down in your calendar. I'll try and post the events ahead of time now, like Wednesday and Friday. I'll try and post it on the weekend, both together, and you can just register in the meetup so you get reminded. I'm looking forward to next week. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about, Brandon? Any events coming up? Any news?
Oh, let's see. I haven't even thought about next week. It doesn't even feel like Friday for some reason. Let's see. What's on the calendar for next week? Ooh. Is this? Oh, no, that's not yet. There's a cool Xamarin meetup. The Xamarin Warsaw meetup is meeting tomorrow. Next week. Let me grab the link for that and share it in the chat. Or I'll have to share. I'll send it to you, Luis, and you can share it in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
They always do a great job. And something I like about it is, yes, it's on, like their evening is our morning. So it's on during the workday, but it's something that like I like to just turn on to have it in the background. So let's see, where can I get this? Do I have to Google it? Dang it. I thought I had it in the calendar. Xamarin Warsaw meetup. This one. Loading. Drop it in the chat. And it should be really cool. They've got a talk on shell and then a talk on architecture. So those are both two things I'm interested in because I've never used shell, and
me neither. Yeah.
I don't really have I don't have a good excuse why, other than just I haven't needed it because I was doing Xamarin Forms before shell was a thing, and that's my brain still works in the old way. But there's definitely some things I've seen with shell that I've been like, ooh, I wish I could do that. And so for me, I'm curious to check out the shell stuff. Maybe this will be finally the one that like pushes me over the edge where I'm like, that's it, only shell from here on out. But I've attended, ever since COVID hit and everything went virtual, I've been attending the Warsaw meetups and highly recommend them. They always do a really good job.
Yeah, I really like how active they are, like how well organized also their meetups are. Like the flow of the talk goes really well. So yeah, I also recommend you guys joining their meetup and sign up for this event. Remember, we're in COVID. We at least on the weekdays, I prefer, in my personal opinion, to be seeing like supporting a live streaming of a fellow community member, just talking about Xamarin and just talking about how our day is going and just code stuff. So yeah, I hope to see you guys. Oh, but wait, it's gonna clash with us.
No, no, no. It's
It's
GMT plus one. So it'll
okay.
be
Okay.
around lunchtime on the East Coast
Let's
because
see.
it's my calendar has it at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
So your time is lunch. I have like 3 hours ahead of you. So yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't clash with us. Nice. So yeah, guys, you're gonna have two events on Wednesday. Go register, and I hope you guys enjoyed this week session. And
Put the
if
link
you
in the chat.
have, oh yeah, almost forgot. Almost forgot. Summary, Warsaw, mobile developers, number 21. There
Boom.
you go. And let me put it in the live stream as well so
Yeah.
they can see it.
So no excuses. Everybody has to attend now.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, I hope you had a great time with us, and we see you next week. Remember, we're gonna be brainstorming on Wednesday, but it doesn't have to be one-sided. We're always open to your suggestions. We would love for you to give us ideas to uh, perfect our mockups, right, and our implementation as well. So I hope you guys have a nice rest of the Friday as well and weekend, and see you next week. Um, you want to say something else, Brandon, before we leave? Or is that it?
That sounds good. Yeah, we'll see
That
you on
sounds
Wednesday.
good. All
Bye,
right. Take
everybody.
care, everyone. Goodbye.